This tutorial is going to go over creating stairs that you can walk up so dealing with collision geometry within Esperient Creator. So here's a model that I've brought in from SketchUp, and I've put a plane and turned it to ground so we can walk around, and I've set it to shooter mode. By default we'll just quickly run it and see what happens. So start walking. You can see we're actually quite short, so we're going to need to adjust the height to start with. So we'll just push stop, come into scene settings, and then under collision, distance to ground. So we'll just try 40 and see how that goes. So it's a bit of trial and error for that, but if we push play now, we're getting much closer to where we want, maybe a little bit higher. So we'll just try 60, see how that goes. So that's probably a bit better. Here we go. And now if we try and walk through up the stairs, we end up just walking straight through them. So what we need to do is set that to be a box. So we've got a couple of options here. So if we go to scene objects, and here's our stairs. Under physics, if we set to object as floor or ground, and then now let's try and see what happens. So if we come up, walk around, and it sort of goes a bit jiggery, but it does work. So that's not too bad. So that sort of works. So there's one option. So and if that works, which is good. So that's all one object. What also happens, we'll just push stop. Here's the collision box. So the shape that is around that box is called around those stairs is a box. So if we can click on it, we can now, where are we? Just pull in a bit. So if we click on here, that yellow box is the collision box. And depending on what we're doing, we may need to transform that. So I clicked the transform shape, and then we can come down and adjust it. So here I'm going to rotate it around and basically turn it into a ramp. It's rotating it around, so you get a better view. So come and transform box. So move, where are we? Scale. Get it to work. So if we come up here to scale, and then now we can scale that down and turn it into a little box. Back up to move that. Obviously we need to rotate it a bit better. Transform. So zoom in on this one, and that way we can check, get it right. So now we can see in that other view, and we can move it up and down until we get it pretty close. So that's much better. So let's try that. So if we hit play, and then walk, and we can actually see that box, and so now we've got it up there. So and you can see because I haven't set that top roof plane to be a ground either. So let's stop. Just put that back. So if we come up, hit select, and then set that to be object as floor or ground as well. So now if we push play, we can start walking around and up. Another option is to bring in an asset browser, and down here we've got a whole lot of options. So under primitives, So if we click on primitives, and then I just panned down until I found something, so stairway, and clicked and dragged and brought that in. And by default, I have to zoom in, that comes in really small for us, so but we can scale it up. So if we click on scale button, scale it up till we start getting appropriate sizes. And then if we go to scene objects, stairway, there's a whole lot of options in here, so we can turn off the posts, the handrails, and then start adjusting thickness. If I click on the little bar next to it, I can start playing. So we can start to get an idea of how we want that to go, and add the number of stairs, width we want to increase, height, number of steps. So straight away we're starting to get things working. So now if we rotate that around, so now if we push play, should be able to come around here. Those are quite steep steps, but you could adjust them, and they're not working. So we need to make sure that we set something. So